Hello and welcome, Gold viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold, and I am so excited to have with me here today Nicole Morales. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
It is so wonderful to have you here. You are presenting here with us at Gold, and you're part of our add-on lecture pack, Birth and Beyond, Navigating the Unexpected lecture pack. And your topic is managing unexpected breech, birth from surprise to solution. What an important topic. I want to talk about that in just a moment. I want to talk, first of all, about your background. Of course, you are a midwife. So tell us a little bit about your background. You're also a lecturer. And yeah.
I'm a midwife here in San Diego, California. I have a small home birth practice here, and I'm also a teacher and instructor. I've been teaching midwifery school for many years, and I'm also an approved spinning babies trainer. And through that work, I also I'm part owner of a group called Restory Birthwork, which we're working to shift the narrative of midwifery education and mentorship towards utilizing both hands-on approaches like body work, as well as we're kind of restoring the narrative of basic midwifery skills. Doing resolving shoulder dystocia. Restory Birthwork has bought the curriculum from Spinning Babies from Gail Tully of resolving shoulder dystocia and breech basics. And so now Gail's still part of that project with us. And so that's kind of the work. I do a lot of work with breech body balancing with those who are breech in the third trimester of pregnancy, and helping people navigate not just with body work but with counseling, how to proceed, and helping them figure out, and baby figure out what's next. So
What's next? And this is so important also for all the midwives and birth workers out there to know what to do next, right? The unexpected can happen. I have to tell you, I'm licensed here in the state of Florida. I'm not allowed to, as a home birth midwife, to do any, facilitate any breech births. But as you well know, we have to be prepared because we never know when there is the surprise, right? The surprise coming. So tell me a little bit about your, like, maybe a memorable experience of managing an unexpected breech birth and the lesson you've learned from that.
I've been gifted the chance to go to a bunch of planned breech births with obstetricians in the area, and traveling. But I was at a surprise breech birth. I only happened to be there as somebody to help sign off for students. And in managing that situation, I found that, I don't know, at the end of the day, it was a complicated breech. That baby needed help with rotations. And what did I learn? I learned that that a part of me, of who I am as a young birth worker, is still in my ear, wanting to be a hands-off midwife. And even when somebody needs help, I realized, I waited longer than I should have. I waited longer than I could. I could have. I knew when I knew I needed to act, I still waited to justify being hands-on, even though I knew that they needed help. So, and partly to just take that younger birth worker part of me and say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be the good midwife, and I'll, because that was my belief system when I first came into birth work, and I'll wait longer to help. And that baby was fine. I was able to help the baby out. I was able to rotate the baby and bring down the arms and help the head out for the baby. And the baby didn't need resuscitation. But in going back and watching the video, there was about 3.5 to 4 minutes that was that I didn't utilize care that I knew needed to help. And it was really good to go back and review that with also mentors of mine. And I think maybe I'm a little harder on myself than some other people, but it was good to go, oh, I can see where I knew and I could help this baby out. I had the tools to do it. I had the knowledge.
Right.
I had the experience, but I still waited. And for that baby, it worked out fine. But for another baby, that might have been the difference between, a baby that was damaged or could have died, or
Mm-hmm.
um, so it was a good call for me to be present.
Present. Well, what a wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that is such a valuable lesson, because many of us go into this profession because we want to be hands off, right? Like we want to be there, the watchdogs of normal, as my mentor used to say, sit on our hands, let birth develop. And many of us have also learned in breech situation not to grab and pull and do anything like that. Let things unfold, because you can damage the baby. But as you just mentioned, there are situations where hands-on is required, and we need to know when that is, right? So um, the only thing with that is, yeah, we need more training. We need to keep training and keep, working on it and learning about it and practicing. And that's where you come in with your presentation. And what I love about this is you bring also a pelvis and the baby, you bring videos. I mean, you make it really easy to see. And I love you have that, you even have somebody holding the pelvis where the rotation happens and where the baby is like up high, and what we need to do or what we can do without damaging the baby, but really helping the baby.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, in a 1 hour presentation, it's hard to get all of that right in there. But I think that you're right. All of those different layers, and then also caretaking the nervous system of the room when you have a surprise, right? And if we're going to have a surprise breach, just even just a little bit of preparation could go a long ways with being able to be kind of a grounding rod for
Right.
for what's happening, because panic doesn't help the
No.
birth room. And as the midwife, we want to be calm. So that's part of our work, is being calm, is also knowing how to orient to a baby that's emerging.
Right. And you mentioned that being calm, but it is not easy though. How do you balance the urgency of of the situation, but also with the need of reassurance and keeping calm during that scenario? How do you do this? Speak from your experience. What is helpful? Are you doing a breathing technique, or how do you manage to have that beautiful balance, and between not doing too much and creating any panic, but also being able to step in, but in a calm and good manner?
Well, isn't this the art of midwifery, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, it's not just for breech. It's also like the practice we have with knowing how to help with emerging moments of being present in our bodies. We already have that knowledge for any situation. That's our hope, is that we develop that presence. But from the midwifery model, my belief system is we understand what the reassuring signs are, and we can just like move forward. And when we understand that, and then we can also acknowledge and name when it's not reassuring, when it's not normal, that also helps our nervous system, right? Versus it all just being chaos. We have these guides. It's like constellations, these guides that we can watch.
Yeah.
And then we can stay in our body. And, the hope is the mirror neurons of the room will reflect. And even in how we talk to somebody, and how we communicate, maybe a position change.
That exactly was my next question. How do you communicate this? Things need to happen, and the position change needs to happen, but you don't want to alarm or, create some kind of panic in the parents or the other, attendants of the birth. Right. And again, it comes down to, I know your answer, right? You're going to tell me that's the art of midwifery, right?
Well, it is, but I mean, I think that this is where the birth team
Yeah.
practices. I mean, one of my challenges for me is communicating as a midwife, right? In those moments, how do we communicate effectively? I'm an internal processor, so I kind of dive in, and I've had students and midwives I've worked with who we can read each other's minds, so we don't need to communicate. But then you get a new team.
Yes. Yeah.
And suddenly they're not reading your mind and you don't know why. So I think that partly it's that communication of what you're seeing, it's the assistant also knowing, oh, I know what to do now. Right.
Yeah.
And that's, when I've attended a difficult breech birth and I had my assistant with me, she knew how to help me.
Yeah.
She was able to even, ask if I needed something, but also help out with suprapubic. And, being able to help out with the changes of positioning. So it's really not just the person who's catching the baby or potentially doing the maneuvers.
Yeah.
It's the people on the outside who are utilizing their resources as well. So, having those practices that helps also hone your nervous system into being present, but also having relationship. I mean, I know that not everybody has that privilege, but relationship makes birth safer. And the families I've worked with know me. And if I'm asking for something in a more emergent fashion, I feel like most everybody will be okay. She's doing this for a reason. I trust her. And then, of course, we're going to do the repair on the other side of that once the unexpected has happened, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's baby being skin to skin, that's the restorative work, right?
Yeah.
Or the restorative work is us being able to process, not there at that moment, but later, and go back and talk through what we saw and what happened.
And debrief, not only with our, the team, but also with the family. That's also very important.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Nicole, you have such a grounded and calm presence. And I can imagine you are a wonderful teacher and a wonderful midwife, doing so much wonderful work in the community and for your students as well. So you are also teaching, you have workshops, and you have the guide. Show us quickly your guide and your book.
So we have Breech Birth Quick Guide, and this is a book that I wrote with Gail Tully. It's a second edition. Gail Tully had a smaller, like maybe less than 20-page book, and this one is a quick guide, even though it's 85 pages. But it has each page has a lot of richness and fullness to it, with drawings, and it's color coded, and we have.
Yeah,
it's similar to the presentation I just created in the sense of the color coding of it, but it gets into the maneuvers in more detail, and and it's, I think, a great way for schools or teachers or students or even experienced midwives with Breech to just help grow their language and their thought processes of what's happening, of being able to see what's happening on the inside of the pelvis, not just on the outside.
Beautiful. And also your book, show us the book.
I have some books that have been out. Breech. I have some body work ones, and this one is Restorative Midwifery, and it's all about storytelling birth, the layers of individual storytelling, family storytelling, stories of birth, and but even like the stories of birth, like having to do with ideology of our presence, cultural stories and how they affect us as midwives, and it has some good journaling, and it's a slow book. It's kind of like a Women Who Runs with the Wolves of like,
I love that. I love
of midwifery, because we utilize a myth, and utilize the myths of the legacy necklace, and we go through the whole story and utilize that myth of us being able to look at more introspective work we do about decision making and
nice,
about birth.
wonderful, beautiful. And the The cover was designed by your daughter, who is an artist, right? Yes.
Yeah. My daughter did this one, and so you can see all the beads of the necklace, and
Right.
yeah, and each everything in here means something, and just enjoying the richness of storytelling.
Richness of storytelling.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what keeps midwifery alive, right? In our world that is so fast paced and so medicalized and such. The art of storytelling, really, for generations and hundreds of years. I think it is important to keep that going, keep this tradition going, because that's what keeps the art of midwifery, carrying on and going forward. Well, Nicole, thank you so very much for being here with me today. And thank you for the wonderful presentation you've been part of here at Gold. And this is, of course, for the add-on package for our midwifery conference starting in February. So this particular presentation and all the other presentations of this add-on package will be available on February 4th. And this is some information for our viewers. Now, if you would like to find out more about the conference and this fantastic add-on package with 6 presentations, please visit goldmidwifery.com for more information. And I hope to see everyone at the conference in February. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Nicole, for being here with me today. Bye-bye, everyone.